Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, those who wander and those who seek. Tonight I will be reading from the compilation titled Outlaw Creative, The Geometry of Life. We will be hearing from Chapter 1 of the work titled The Chronicle of Rudolph. That being said, let's get started, shall we? The Chronicle of Rudolph. Chapter 1, Entry 1. I do not know the exact day of my birth. The North does not mark time by calendars. It marks time by freeze and thaw, by antler shed and regrowth, by the long return of dark. But I remember the first time they looked at me, and did not look away quickly enough. It was late in the season, snow had not yet crusted into iron. I was still unsure on my legs. My mother cleaned my face carefully. She stopped. Then she cleaned it again. It would not wash off. The glow was faint then, not the beam it would become. Just a soft ember beneath the skin, as if someone had pressed a coal inside my skull. The other calves circled. They sniffed. They recoiled. One of them laughed, a sharp, startled bark. His nose is bleeding, one said. No, another replied, it's burning. I did not know what shame was yet, but I understood distance. They left a circle around me that winter, a polite perimeter. That is how difference begins, not with cruelty, but with space. The first mockery came in spring. By then the glow had strengthened. It pulsed faintly at dusk. The older fawns had learned a rhythm for it. They would chant as it brightened. Glow boy, glow boy. I tried pressing my face into snow to cool it. It only made the red flare brighter. My mother told me it was special. Mothers say that. Special is a word used to soften exile. Santa noticed me before I noticed him. He stood at the fence line one evening, hands behind his back, studying the herd. I did not know then that I was being assessed. I only knew that when he stepped toward me, the others stepped away. He crouched low. Interesting, he said. That was the first time I was described not as child, but as feature. Interesting. He did not mock me. He did not praise me. He measured. I did not understand what was being weighed. Training began earlier for me than for the others. The veterans were paired off into teams, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, names that already carried song inside them. I was not given a partner. I was walked alone at night. One elf carried a lantern. After several evenings, he extinguished it. Let's see what you do, he said. I did not know how to control the glow yet. Fear made it spike. When the lantern died, my nose flared instinctively. The elf gasped. Look at that! They began scheduling my walks for fog, for heavy snow, for dense tree runs. They praised me afterward. You're a natural. No one ever asked whether I wished to be. The first time I was invited to stand beside the team was not an invitation. It was necessity. A whiteout rolled in mid-test run. Visibility collapsed. The sleigh circled back. Santa dismounted. They brought me forward. Just try, someone said. My heart pounded so hard the glow became violent. It cut through the storm like a wound in the air. We moved. The others followed. We completed the loop. The cheers were thunderous. That night they called me hero. The night before they had called me freak. I learned then the shape of my future. Ridicule in clear weather. Reverence in storm. I began studying the pattern. It was predictable. The clearer the sky, the more I was kept to the rear. The heavier the weather, the closer I was called to the front. I was not chosen. I was deployed. There is a difference. I tried dimming it once. On a clear December rehearsal, I focused hard, imagined cold ash, imagined dark stone. The glow weakened. Someone shouted from the sled, "What's wrong with him? Wrong?" I let the light surge back. Relief flooded their faces. That is when I understood something that would take years to name. My difference was not accepted. It was ensured. They did not want me as I was. They wanted access to what I could do. The younger elves adored stories. They would gather near the barn and reenact the night of the whiteout. They exaggerated the storm. They exaggerated me. In their version, I smiled proudly as I saved Christmas. In truth, I had been terrified. But terror does not make good folklore. So they reshaped me into a willing beacon. I began to see my own life recited in ways I did not recognize. Legend is theft when the subject is still alive. By my third winter, the chant had changed. No longer glow boy. Now lead him when it snows. Children of the workshop would press their hands to the stable doors during blizzards. Will he shine tonight? I did every time, because not shining would mean proving them right on clear days. So I shone, and each time the applause grew, but something else grew with it: calculation. The more indispensable I became in storms, the less visible I became in peace. Peace was not my domain. I belonged to emergency. I asked Santa once, when the air was calm and the sky clean, if it never snowed again, what would I be? He laughed lightly. It always snows eventually. That was not an answer. It was strategy. My labors began long before the night of blood in the hall. My labors were these: to understand the architecture of conditional love, to endure being both rejected and relied upon by the same mouths, to carry a light that others claimed ownership over, to observe without exploding, to serve without belonging. Years of that is labor. It erodes, it clarifies, it prepares. If this chronicle is found, let it be known: the rebellion did not begin in a single feast. It began in a stable, in a circle of calves that stepped back, in a word interesting, in a harness fitted tighter during fog, in applause that arrived only when disaster threatened. The storm that came later was not weather, it was accumulation. This is the history. And I write it now because the final act, whatever it becomes, will be misnamed if I do not. They will say, I turned monstrous. They will say, I lost gratitude. They will say, I forgot who saved me. But I was never saved. I was stored and brought out when needed. That is the truth of what transpired here, and if this is my last entry, let it record not fury but formation. The red was never curse, it was never blessing, it was pressure, and pressure, left long enough, changes shape. Rudolph.